What is going on, traders? Welcome to the weekly Forex Forecast and Trade Setups video for the week of February 10th, 2019. We've got a lot of exciting pairs to review, so let's get into it. Welcome to Price Action Nation, where we help you go from indicator overload and analysis paralysis to finally trading with clarity and confidence. Here we focus on helping traders become independently profitable by focusing on pure price action. So if you're new, please support the channel and consider subscribing. Let's get started with the Euro USD. Here's a daily time frame chart. If you've been following my forecast videos, you'll know that this is the bigger picture that we've been looking at here. I do see the bigger move being to the downside. I'm expecting this low right here to be taken out. Now the question is it going to be on this current move to the down? Are we going to see a continuation down here, or are we going to see one more up move before the bigger downswing? That remains to be unknown, but time will tell. Moving down to a 60-minute time frame, we had this big impulsive move up here, this nice little ABC move, and ever since coming up to the high here, just breaching the 115 handle, price has been coming down, but it's been coming down very correctively. And it's just creeping slowly down, squeezing out the longs, continuing lower and lower. Now towards the end of the week, I did get in a long position here. Granted, that is a little bit of a risky trade. It's a more of an aggressive entry, more of a risk-taking entry, but I do see this swing here, and for the risk, that little bit of risk, there's a lot of upside here. Again, going back to the daily, we're looking at this kind of move here because we're at the very bottom of this range, number one, and number two, we've got this major price change at 113 handle right here as well. So there's a really nice confluence of support we're talking about. So leveraging that confluence of support in combination with the nature of the price action, you guys, that's something I want you to really become in tune with on this channel and sensitive to, is the nature of the move itself. Yes, it's been coming down, but you can see that it's very slow, it's very weak, it's not aggressive. Okay, so what we want to do is, what I'm anticipating and wanting to get is a move like this, these pops, right? These really aggressive moves like that. And if that happens, great. If not, then you're not out very much at all. Right? That's the name of the game. Risk a little in exchange for a lot. So even if this comes down to this 113 handle, I would still be eyeing the longs. In fact, even if this low gets taken out. Why? Well, because from the perspective of somebody who's already in long, where are those stop losses going to be? And I can tell you right now, they're going to be behind this low. Okay, there's going to be a lot of stops behind that low. So if that low gets breached, there's going to be a heap of stops getting cleared out and just clearing the way for that move up. Okay, just like what happened here, didn't it? Right here, this move, all those stops got taken out right there, and what did it do? It cleared the way for the bulls to just charge ahead north. So you can simply copy and paste what happened right there, and don't be alarmed if that happens over here as well. Dollar CAD. Now this is a weekly chart. This is a screenshot from before the end of the year, back in December. For my members and for those of you that have been following, know it's no secret that this is my outlook for the dollar CAD. This is the bigger macro, larger view with a lot of juicy downside. Okay, we had this strong impulsive wave down, correction, impulse down, very long prolonged correction, and expecting this third drive, this third impulsive wave to the downside. Now if we go into the current market, you can see that sure enough, from the top of this move, this has been a very impulsive wave down thus far. Now we'll have to wait and see if we see a continuation like that or not. So at this stage, there's some possibilities. You can see as price came down to the bottom of this channel as it was approaching, we had a strong reaction, buyer stepping in, probably a combination of heavy shorts shoring up some of those positions, squaring some of those positions up, closing them out, and a combination of buyers coming back in. As you know, the Canadian dollar and oil, there's a fundamental relationship there, and we saw a bit of a hit in oil towards the end of the week. So a bit of a rebound here. There is a possibility, bear in mind, though, we could see another move up, but again, that's not going to change the bigger overall outlook for this wave that we're expecting. Moving down to a 60-minute chart, we can see as the week progressed, the dollar CAD continued to move higher and higher and higher. Now this was in part due to the strength in the dollar that we saw, as well as a bit of a hit that oil took as well. However, as it approached just north of that 133 handle, you can see as the week ended some very aggressive selling coming in. Now to me, that's a good sign. That's part of what we want to see. We had this trend line right here formed and a very aggressive impulsive move down. Now the market is currently a bit of a, so far looking as if it's just going to be correcting and then setting itself up for that next wave down, something like that. Now this could be a short-lived correction or more of a longer term correction. We'll just have to wait and see what happens there. But I am expecting and anticipating further downside. If you wanted to, what you could consider doing is looking to get in on a small position with a little bit of risk. If it were me, I'd look to put a stop above these highs right here and look for this perhaps to pull back a little bit deeper, give yourself a better price, and then look to get in short there again with the small position there. Look to take advantage and exploit that next move down if it happens. Dollar yen, let me actually share with you guys the weekly view. This is of course a very big macro view of the market, but it is nevertheless something that I will be keeping on the radar in the big picture. As you can see over here, back at the end of 2016, of course the Trump rally that we had after the election, we had this very, very robust move to the upside, very impulsive, and ever since this has just been very correctively moving very sideways ever since. Now what I'll be looking for is a next impulsive wave like this, something like that to happen over here. There is the possibility that this wave may or may not already be underway. You can see the aggressive nature that this moved up from these lows down here at the 104.65-ish level in the wake of that flash crash we had a couple weeks ago. But if it doesn't and we continue to see this market come down, especially if these lows get taken out, can you imagine all of the stops that are going to be here, the massive pool of stop losses that are going to be clustered right here? If that gets hit, look for this to continue on down. However, bear in mind that the bigger picture of this, as we get down especially to this 100 level, I'm definitely going to be keeping an eye out for longs for a really juicy trade to the upside. That of course is a weekly view, and it could be many months, even a year out before we see that kind of bigger picture move, but I did want to bring it to your awareness. Now back on a 4-hour chart, I am seeing further upside in the medium term. We are going to be looking for longs on the dollar yen at this point. That's the way that the structure in the market, that's what it's communicating to us. So we'll be looking for this next wave up here. However, once we get up to the top of this range, I will be looking for shorts for a nice move, a nice trade to the downside there. Let's go down to a 60-minute chart. I am expecting one more move down, taking out these lows right here before I will be considering to get in long. However, once we get down in this area, I'm going to be keeping an eye out and stalking those long trades for at least a move up to the top of this range. If it gets up there, you're going to want to take some profit and or move your stop to break even. Getting this wave out, that's going to be the juicier trade, breaking out of this structure and then getting that impulsive wave to the upside. However, that doesn't mean that this can't correct further before that next wave up, something like this. Aussie dollar 4-hour chart. I'm also quite bullish on the Aussie dollar. You can go back, and one of the first videos posted on this channel was actually an outlook that I have very long term for the Aussie dollar. I do see us going back up to the 80 level, if not higher. So I'm going to be looking for opportunities to get in long any chance I can because of the upside that we have here, and that hasn't changed. So here's a 4-hour chart. I did actually get in long on the Aussie adding to a position that I had gotten in long down here. I'm going to be looking to add to those positions, and I'm prepared to scale in and build a very nice position in this as well. This still is looking like it could have further room to the downside, which is no big deal because I'll simply be looking to add to that position at better prices. You can see I've got this buy zone, what I'm considering a tremendous area of value to get in long. If the market does give us that opportunity to get in down here, I'll be looking to take that. However, this is the kind of move you're wanting to capture, and I do see a very good likelihood that that will happen. Kiwi dollar, this is a 4-hour chart. The Kiwi took a bit of a hit last week. You can see that very aggressive move to the downside. To me, that's hinting to further downside that I can see shaping up here. We might get a longer correction this week and then the move down. If we see these lows tested or taken out, I'm going to be looking to get in long for that next wave up, at least back up to these levels here. Very, very attractive trade if price does make it back down to these levels here, testing or taking out these lows. Keep this on your radar and look for an opportunity to get in long from there. Dollar index 4-hour chart. It is a make or break moment at this time for the dollar. All last week, price was coming up, 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 up. A lot of strengthening across the board for the dollar we saw. And now we're at a bit of a crossroads. Decision making time here. Are we going to continue to head higher back up to the top of this range before the next wave down? Or are we going to see price come back down and perhaps even break out of this structure here and head lower from that point? What the dollar does is going to have a lot of bearing on a lot of these other pairs that we're trading as well. So if these highs do get taken out and price does continue higher, we're going to see strengthening across the board on all of those other pairs that we're watching as well. However, my expectation, what I'm leaning towards, is seeing this break down and respect these highs and continue down from this point. Pound CAD daily. This was a wonderful trade. I was in riding this wave down. Some of my traders got in this as well. Unfortunately, this week, about halfway through the week, I did get stopped out on this deeper correction as price came up. That does not change the overall expectation of this, which is downside. Okay, we might see a short-lived correction to the upside before it continues down. Heck, we might even see a test back up here of these highs before it comes down, but that's not going to change. The structure hasn't changed. Regardless of if this comes up again, we're going to see additional downside, and we will see this will break out, it will head lower, and we will see these lows over here at a minimum tested again, but more than likely broken. So you're going to want to look for any opportunity that you have as price comes back up here to these highs, especially if they get broke, to get in short. Moving down to a 60-minute chart, there is additional upside. We're talking a few hundred pips that this could go during this week. Okay, so the short term, there are some buy setups taking shape right now. You got this area right here that was aggressively taken out. Price is correcting here. If anything, I would be looking for short-term longs around here at this area for that to continue up and making a higher high. So for the short term, you could certainly look for setups to get in long and exploit some of the short-term strength in the pound to the upside. However, bearing in mind that as price comes up here, if in fact it does get up and make it up to this point, you're going to want to be gearing up to go short once again. Pound dollar daily. I was looking for and hoping for these highs up here to get tagged before getting in short. However, price didn't make it up that high before it started its downturn. So at this point, I do see two possibilities here. We could see a move back down testing these lows before the next wave up, or what we could have is a possible break, retest, and a continuation up from this point here as well. Trading's like a chess match. Trading's a marathon, not a sprint, and it's also chess, not checkers. So you've got to always be thinking 1, 2, 3, 4 steps ahead and possibilities that might happen, and prepare yourself for those possibilities and plan accordingly. That being the case, we could see larger prolonged downside, or we might actually see an aggressive move up from this point. Now, as you know, there's a lot to do right now about Brexit and uncertainty and what kind of negotiations, what are they going to do. Having these two possibilities in mind is going to be very important so that you can be proactive instead of reactive. And also, if we take a look at this daily candle right here, where we had a breach of this trend line right here, but then a massive rebound, buyers coming in very aggressively again, and that area holding, that is a little bit of evidence that suggests that we could see a move up from this point. Another reason why price to me suggests that we are more likely to see, at the very least, a short-term move up like this, perhaps retesting these highs, is the nature of price through here. You can see we had very strong movement to the upside, and ever since then, from these highs, yes, price has come down, but it's been coming down slowly. It's been coming down very, very correctively in nature as it's been doing so. So I would be looking for something like this as price has been coming through here very correctively, and then look for another move up. In fact, at the end of the week, I was actually looking for an entry long here to get in and exploit this short-term strength to the upside and take a jab at this market. In fact, I'll probably still look, at least today or tomorrow, for a short-term long. I'll look to get in with a small amount of risk to my account and look to get in long if we see a little bit more of a pullback down to here, to these levels here. Break these lows and then look for something like that. Now this move could be something just as short-lived as that, or it could turn into something that has a lot more upside. So I'm willing to get in almost like guerrilla warfare, take a small jab at the market and a small amount of risk that I can take that risk off the table by moving my stop to break even, eliminate the risk of the trade, and then if it does end up turning into something that has a lot bigger upside, where it does turn into something where there is the big bulls in the market coming in and stepping in, I'll be already established into that position. And if not, well, then I'm not going to lose anything. So long as this continues down, just like it has been, my outlook is going to be, I'm going to be on the lookout to go long. Pound Kiwi, 4-hour chart. Last week we said this pair did have the possibility of holding where it was and continuing up higher. That's precisely what did happen. Short term, you could look for additional trades long back up to the top of this range. Those are going to be short-lived. You're going to want to scale out at least a little bit of profit here and then look for the bigger downside. The bigger picture here is to the downside. That's the bigger, larger, juicier trade that you're going to want to be keeping an eye out for. This is a daily chart, gives us an eagle's eye view of what's been going on here. Here we had this aggressive impulsive move to the downside. We've had a two-leg pullback here, and it looks like we could have an additional leg of this market pulling back here. This doesn't change the overall bigger picture expectation and forecast of this coming back down, at the very least retesting these lows, more than likely breaking them. That's the bigger trade you want to be on the outlook for. Like I said, shorter term, you could certainly look to exploit the short-term strength. This does look like it actually has the ability to head higher from here. Let's go down to a 60-minute chart. From these lows, we had a strong impulsive wave up. This is now just simply correcting and setting itself up to head higher from there. So short term, you can look for longs. Longer term, you're going to want to be looking for shorts. This was another trade that I was in, as well as some of my traders were in short. Very nice trade. We locked in and banked hundreds of pips on this move down. I did get stopped out on that deeper correction back up, and I'll just simply be on the lookout to re-enter that trade for the bigger move down. Pound Aussie 4-hour chart. Very similar to the Pound Kiwi. Shorter term, this week you can be on the lookout for longs. We could see a retest back up here of these highs, or at the top of this structure here, breaking these highs. Once we get to that point, if price gives you that price, be on the lookout to start hunting short trades. That's where the bigger trade potential is, profit potential for this market at this point. Myself, as well as some of my traders, we did get in the Pound Aussie up here at these highs, rode this down for hundreds of pips, and just like those other pound trades, unfortunately did get stopped out for a profit on this deeper correction. So short term upside, longer term downside. I'm confident we're going to see a breakdown of this trend line here, breaking out, taking out all of these lows, and at least retesting these lows that we saw back in December. Pound franc, upside. Definitely expecting upside here. We're in a very nice textbook correction right through here. So the trade is certainly to the upside. Wait for it to pull back a little bit if you want to be more aggressive in your entry. Wait for it to pull back a little bit deeper for that move. Or if you wanted to be a little more conservative, wait for the bulls to step in pushing higher and then look to ride that momentum to the upside. Once we approach these highs, you can see if we zoom out a little bit, we have some pretty major highs up here. Once those highs get taken out and broken, testing that 132 handle, by that point, of course, your trade's already going to be in profit. Your stop's going to be moved to a stop profit. But at that point, I'm going to be on the lookout for shorts because the larger profit potential and the larger trade opportunity is going to be to the downside for the move down. Pound yen daily, my long-term outlook on this is upside. Big upside potential here. These are any opportunities we get to go long on the pound yen, I'm going to be looking to take because of the upside is so promising. So even conservatively, if from these levels price continues higher and tests these recent highs up here at 149, you guys, that's 700 pips. If it does what I'm expecting it to do, we're going to get up here and retest these highs up here at 156. There's over 1400 pips profit potential. And my longer term expectation is that we're actually going to break these highs here and head higher for there. So we're looking at well over 1,000 pips in profit in the making possibility. Even if this does continue back down for the time being, that's not going to change the overall outlook that the upside is coming. So bigger macro view, upside is the expectation. However, on the shorter time frame as well, this is looking to be a very nice setup for a buy. So if we get price pulling back deeper, breaking these lows, this could very well turn into a longer, more prolonged correction down. But no matter how long this does end up correcting, that still isn't going to change the fact that we're looking for that move up. And so any chance, any opportunity that the market gives us to get in long with a little bit of risk, that's something that you want to take because you don't want to miss that bigger move up. That's going to do things for our pound pairs. Let's go on and move to the Euro Kiwi. Euro Kiwi daily. Euro Kiwi last week did exactly what we were expecting it to do. If you go back and watch last week's Forex Forecast video, you'll know that we were looking for longs from these levels or from these levels. It did take off very aggressively. We got the pop we were looking for in capturing that move. This is a trade that I'm currently in long, and I'll be looking to add to the position if I get the chance. We are in a little bit of a pullback here. You guys, that may be just the pullback you need to get in long and re-enter this. This is just simply on a smaller time frame. This is a 4-hour chart now. This is just nothing more than a small correction in the market. What actually might be happening, if we zoom in a little bit further, let's go down to an hourly chart and get a little bit more detail. Alright, so here we are on an hourly chart. Price may give you the gift of this pullback here, which if it does, retesting that bigger daily trend line here. The market, when it breaks out of structure, oftentimes it will like to retest it. So this could very well be the break. We could be in the process of retesting, and if it does give that retest, we've got some fantastic confluence of support in the form of that trend line, in the form of this horizontal resistance as well. That would be a good area for a little bit of risk to your account to look to get in for lots of upside. As you know, my bigger picture outlook on this is for price to at least retest these former highs, which from the levels that it's sitting at right now is another 300, 400, 500 pips. Let me close out this Euro Kiwi analysis real quick by sharing with you guys my bigger picture outlook. Right now we're bullish. I'm in long on the Euro Kiwi. We're going to want to be looking for long entries for the time being. However, something to keep on the radar on the back burner is that If and when price reaches back up to this level here, you're going to want to be looking to get in short, and that is going to be one juicy trade to the downside, capturing that wave right there. You see this big impulsive wave to the downside here, breaking this multi-year trend line. Well, I'll be looking for this to come back, retest some of these levels up in here, and then capture the next big wave to the downside there. You're looking at well over 1,000 pip trade right there on that one. You saw it here first, don't forget it. As this develops and as price heads up higher, we'll definitely keep that on the radar and give you guys an update. Aussie Kiwi, this is a daily chart. Don't forget guys, you saw it here first. This will be heading back up, testing the 112, in my estimation, coming back up to the 114 handle, possibly higher from there. Of course, this isn't going to go in a straight line. However, I do want to be in this move as it continues higher. I do have two small positions currently on the Aussie Kiwi. So in the event we do get this aggressive upside, I'm going to be in. If price pulls back a little bit deeper, I will consider adding to that, because this is the wave I don't want to miss. This is a 60-minute chart. I was very close to adding in and getting in down here at this 104 handle. Unfortunately, I didn't. I was just holding on to my positions that I had up at this area of support. We had this very aggressive move up. Right now, price is correcting again. If you're not in this trade, keep an eye on the Aussie Kiwi, because it may grant you the gift of coming back down here again, which if it does, if we do just simply get a small correction here to the downside, you could consider getting in long for that wave up there. Aussie Franc daily chart. The thing for me at this point is I'm going to be waiting for price to come back up and test this long-term trend line. That's been very well established. I'm going to be looking for price to come up here at that point, wait to see how the price behaves at this level to see what I want to do. If price starts to show signs it's going to respect, I'll be looking to go short. And if we get a strong breakout, then I'll be looking to get in long on a correction for further upside. Euro Franc. If you've been following me, you know that we were looking for upside on this as price was correcting back down from these levels. Some of my traders got in from these lows here, rode it up. We had a break, a retest of this level, and then the continuation up here. I do see additional upside on this trade. Let's move to the daily. I'll show you. This is my expectation. I see a test, at least a test of these highs. We could see a break of those highs. From that point, we'll wait and see what happens. 60-minute chart on the Euro Franc. You guys, I hope this is on your watch list. This is setting up beautifully for a nice run up. Very nice long trade, and lots of upside remaining on this for a little bit of risk. We've got this fantastic trend line with absolute perfect compliance so far by the market, price respecting that level. So upside is the expectation at this point. Euro Yen 4-hour chart. You could look to go long right now. If you're going to go long, now's the time to do it. I'd be looking to target the upside of this range up here. However, from that level, that's where you're going to want to go short. I'm expecting further downside here, breaking out of this structure. That's going to be a really juicy trade if the market gives it to you, and that's going to be the area that you're going to want to look to short from. Kiwi Yen at the end of last week, or about the middle of last week, this was a setup that I had posted to my members. I was expecting this to break down to the downside, and this is just about as textbook as you can get. Just beautiful on-point analysis. This coming down exactly as expected. Very nice move to the downside. However, my larger, bigger picture outlook on this is bullish. My expectation is upside in the big picture. Let me show you what that looks like and what I'm seeing. This is a weekly chart on the Kiwi Yen. Big picture stuff we're looking at here. And this has been in long-term consolidation mode. I am expecting this to break out of this structure eventually and tag these highs up there at 8,400. CAD Franc daily chart. Oh my gosh, this is a thing of pure beauty. Some of my traders got in on this trade way back here when we called this and have been riding it up ever since. If you're in this trade, hold on, move your stops, protect your profits. There is additional upside. If you're not in this, just stay out. Now's not a good time to enter. We could see some hesitation up here At these levels right now, you can already see the initial respect off of that trend line as we come back down. However, I do see a very good likelihood that we'll break out of this and head higher from that point back up to the 78-7900 handle. I'm very pleased with how this trade has developed. Just as according to plan, these are the kind of waves that we're trying to capture here at Price Action Nation, and I want more and more of you guys taking advantage of and being able to capitalize on these moves in the market when they happen. This is the power of price action analysis, and when you can really start to read the structure and the waves and the movements of the market, you can anticipate, forecast, and predict these moves when they happen and really make a difference in your account. Swiss yen 4-hour chart, another trade coming together just as planned, perfect compliance by the market. Go back to last week's Forex Forecast video and you'll see this is exactly what we were expecting this thing to do. Come back down to the bottom of this range, tag this 109 handle, break these lows, come down to the bottom, and then head higher from there. And boy oh boy has that happened. As soon as price tagged the lows, it skyrocketed back up. I'm currently in this trade. I'm up very nicely on it right now, and I'm hoping for this next wave up, breaking out of this structure and testing these highs up here at the 112, 113 handle. And if it does so, there's going to be an additional 200 pips plus in profits. If you're not already in this trade, now is definitely not the time to get in. You do not want to be chasing after this and getting up here at the highs. There is still the possibility that we could see price hold, and just like it did here, we could also see it do the same thing here, hold and correct deeper. If it does, I'm not going to be out anything on this trade, and I will simply be looking to re-enter. And if it does, if you missed it, keep an eye on this, because it may or may not give you the same opportunity to get in to ride this next wave up. Natural gas daily. Natural gas is at a very interesting level right now. It's at a very strong demand zone. This is a great area of value as a buyer to be looking to get in, and as you can see, there's a lot of upside on this bad boy. So natural gas is one that's really volatile. It's been extremely volatile lately, which could definitely play to your favor. Getting in with a little bit of risk, if we see some of that volatility come back in, spiking in the market, man, that could really play out really nicely for your account. As always, have your money management rules and have good risk management whenever you're going to trade. But this is one that I see having some really nice upside for the time being. My expectation, upside. Brent crude, UK oil weekly chart. We're at an interesting level right now with oil. We've got this weekly chart with this big trend line here going back to 2016, 3 years ago. Price broke through it, had a short-term correction, retesting it, big strong move down, and now we've had a bigger correction now. Price is pulled back, and we're just sitting at that trend line right now. So kind of interesting. We're at a bit of a crossroads here. I wouldn't be too keen on getting in long at this point if you're not in already. At least be aware that you're at this level right now if you're going to be getting in long, which to me doesn't really have the best risk versus reward. Let me show you something a little bit interesting on oil. This is a weekly chart, and what I want to showcase here is what you could refer to as the fractal nature of the market, simply meaning that the market will move in the same types of patterns on big time frames as it does on small time frames. So here's a weekly chart. We saw price come up and had this sort of expanding pattern here. And what did that lead to? Well, it led to this big impulsive wave down, breaking down out of this structure. Okay, so this is a weekly. Now I'm going to show you a 4-hour chart, which is right now. So we had the wave up, this expansion pattern here, and we may see this wave down. As you know, I just showed you that big trend line. Here's the look at that on the daily. We're sitting here. We may see a move back up, another retest, and that wave down. If that pattern that we saw on the weekly, which was this, come to fruition here on the 4-hour, it's very likely we'll see this wave down. So could you look for longs here short term on a smaller time frame? Absolutely. You could look to ride this back up to the top of this pattern, up to the top of this structure. However, once we do get back up to this 56-ish handle on oil, on Brent, I would be on the lookout for shorts. That would be my expectation. As always, our Forex forecast would not be complete without closing with the cryptocurrency markets. Bitcoin 4-hour chart. Based on last week's video, if you go back and watch, we were looking for the upside here. And for those of you who did get in, congratulations, you're up very nicely right now on Bitcoin. You can see price continued to just simply consolidate sideways. So anywhere through here, you got to be patient. You know, this if you got in last week, even when we were looking at this and held it for the week, you didn't experience any drawdown. If you did, it was very small and very limited, but the upside was very nice already. So if you're in this trade, I would move your stop to break even or better. And if price does continue higher, that's just going to be gravy. Ripple, XRP, this is a daily chart. Things have not changed since last week. Upside. Upside is the expectation. I would be treating, for those of you who are interested in cryptocurrencies, you can definitely look to trade it and exploit the short-term opportunities and possibilities there. But I would be having more of an investor's outlook when it comes to these assets, just because the long-term outlook is overall very bullish. This is new technology. This is a completely new wave of technology and a completely new asset class. And the upside has some very, very big potential here. Ethereum, you guys, 4-hour chart. Go back to last week's video. This happened exactly as expected. Price consolidating. I hope you're able to get in. I hope some of you guys watching this got in on Ethereum on this. It popped just like we were hoping for. Great move so far. You know, it's a great move on your account, but the upside is so much greater. Even if we just conservatively retest these highs, that's going to be some very nice gains on your account. If you're in this trade already, move your stop to break even or better. Maybe take a little bit of profit off the table and look to ride this all the way back up to the 160 level. That's going to do it for this week's Forex Forecast and Trade Setups video. I hope this was helpful. You guys, if you've gotten value out of these videos, if you've been following me, please do me a favor. Give this video a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Tap that notification bell so that you never miss out on the latest videos that I'm posting. If you want to get my latest setups and trade ideas, be a part of our Telegram channel. It's completely free. You can get trade setups sent directly to your phone so that you're always in the loop on the latest price action in the markets. Question of the day. What currencies and setups do you have your eye on for the week? Share it in the comments below. If you're running into questions or having difficulty in your own trading, leave that in the comments as well. I'll do my best to answer. That's going to do it for today. I'm going to wrap things up there. I hope to see you in the next video. And until next time, best of luck in your trading.